He's Bill Ryder, and he's Ryder than you.
The program Ryder than you, sometimes.
He's a fan.
I love sports so much.
He's in your face.
I will destroy those obnoxiously arrogant, clueless, tone-deaf superstars who are marginal players, good players, who made careers, who think they're Hall of Famers.
He's nice.
I promise, we're nice here.
He's humble.
I think I'm pretty good if you're on the show about admitting if I got it wrong.
Live from Los Angeles, here's Bill Ryder.
Still not live. I did have a dream last night the show was live, so we're getting closer to that. This show today is behind the paywall because we have a remarkable guest who will join me in about 60 seconds. And so if you're listening to this free preview on Apple or Spotify and you want to get the entirety of the show with the one and only Andrew Bogusch, BillRyder.substack.com, BillRyder.substack.com. If you don't feel like paying what is in effect a nice latte at your local coffee shop to listen to this program and the rest of the programs for the month, still go there, check it out, be a free subscriber, some bonus opportunities to do things there. Help us build something that is new, that is owned by me, and that comes in the wake of my sports radio network going out of business. And it's why Andrew has free time and I have free time and everybody has free time. All right, there's a lot to get to, including Truth or Bogusch is coming up. I'm gonna put them up. We're not gonna do the whole. I'm not gonna do a take. I have a question. And Andrew Bogusch.
You kept the theme song. I'm so happy. I love it.
So I will say this. I lost my gig at CBS. Well, I didn't lose my gig. CBS Sports and I decided non-mutually in the summer that I wouldn't work there. And obviously, it's a little different at radio. We all sort of lost our gigs because the radio network went out of business. And we'll talk about this in a little bit, or they closed it. They were great to me on the way out. They gave me the name of the show. They gave me all the imaging. They gave me Truth or Bogusch, which we're going to do later. And that was, we had to haggle on that one. Yeah. How you do? I like the backward hat. Dude, I've never seen you rested in my entire life.
Yeah, this is, there are a handful of perks to being mostly unemployed is that I sleep like an actual human being. And for the most part, it feels pretty good. It feels pretty good. I can't complain, but this is, we haven't showered or anything yet today.
Okay, neither.
Yeah,
my hair.
That's why the backwards hat is necessary.
You look amazing, and it's the first time in our friendship and our time working together I can say that, and it's definitely true, right? Like, you look rested. All right, I have a philosophical sports question for you off of the news today, some of the news, and then we can get to a bunch of stuff. And for those of you that are not paying for the podcast, you can't watch the podcast. The pod is always behind a paywall in terms of the watching part of it. But I've got a Barca coat thing on, and you have a collared Tottenham shirt on.
Yeah, I've got a throwback Tottenham. But again, this is me. I'm a baby in my fandom. Can I tell you what year or what vintage? I think it's late 80s.
Hit me.
But yeah, This is like a legit collared jersey, little old school Umbro logo on here as well.
Umbro.
Yeah, I all of a sudden, man, I dove head first into this soccer thing. I'm mad at myself that I did not pay more attention to this sport like up until 5 years ago, because clearly I missed a lot. I feel like a fraud playing catch up. Every time I get mad or happy about something that Spurs do, I feel like I'm not qualified or like validated to have any kind of actual feelings about them. I guess, but I didn't like this is I've been told by more than one person that they're not surprised that I'm a Spurs fan because the Spurs are very Mets-like.
Misery. Yeah, see, Cubs is what right. Okay, so we're gonna hit this in the show, and Stu and I are gonna start doing some soccer pods, and you should jump on.
Yeah, I'd love to.
There's an appetite for it. All right, very quick philosophical. I call it football now. So I have American football and I have European football. It's very confusing. I have an American football question for you. I'm sure you saw the news today. It's not earth-shattering. Patrick Mahomes restructured his deal to create in the neighborhood of $43.5 million in new cap space. This is like very Tom Brady-esque, right? I mean, some of it becomes a signing bonus, some of it gets moved down the line, but it gives the Chiefs a little more flexibility. They're hoping Chris Jones will do it. The reporting says he could do it. Clearly, to me, the timing of this is Mahomes does it so they can maybe put some pressure on Chris Jones to try and do the same thing. Here's my question. Talk about it for 20 minutes or 2 minutes. I think you're a Chiefs neutral, right? And I lean a little Chiefs because I covered that team. My kids were born there, but I'm a Bears fan. Are we at a point where it's worth rooting for the Chiefs again? Do you want to see them be successful? coming off no playoffs, coming off Mahomes' injury, coming off, and I'm not crapping on the postseason, but it wasn't right. It felt like it was missing a little pizzazz. Are you at a place where you could espouse, or maybe go the opposite, the idea of rooting for Kansas City to be great again?
So I don't know about rooting. Now, personally, I'm about 25 feet and 6 steps down from my 12-year-old son, who somehow is a Bills fan. I mean, I'm sitting here in my Spurs jersey. There might be a Josh Allen or a James Cook jersey in today's choice wardrobe for him. So personally, like my fall and winter, hoping the best for him and his Bills, I could use less Mahomes, right? But from my perspective, I don't know that I would actually root for them to be better, but I do want them to be better. The league is better when they're involved, when he's involved. And I don't have a problem with dynasties, with lack of turnover. Like, it's okay if they make 4 of the next 5 Super Bowls. Like, I appreciate greatness and consistency. So I'm okay with it, but am I going to actively hope that it happens? Probably not.
I'm kind of hoping for it. Again, I have a little bit of a look. It's not like Clark Hunt and I are golfing together, but if I see him, we speak. And if I hit up, his assistant, he'll come on the old show. I probably should try to get him on this show. So I was around that team for, I don't know, 7 or 8 years. My kids love that team because they were born there. So Henry can root for the Chiefs and it can be a real thing. But I'm with you on I want a Tiger to be amazing. I know people hate the Dodgers now. I want Shohei Ohtani to win every World Series that's in front of him if it's not the Cubs. I like,
or at least be in the World Series.
Yeah. Dude, Shohei had 2 of the greatest games in baseball history in that playoff run. He had some bad games.
Right.
But he literally – so I saw this and I thought, good. I hope this facilitates whatever they've got – because they're going to have to cut an offensive lineman probably who's pretty good, makes too much money. I mean, having a little extra room could facilitate a Kansas City Chiefs revival.
Sure. And the other side of it, this to me is exhibit infinity of how completely useless NFL contracts are. Like, how much time have we wasted about salary caps and signing bonuses and guaranteed money, and how are they going to do this? And they can't trade this guy because the dead cap hit is this and that, and none of it matters. They can just go bloop and click a different box, and all of a sudden that money counts as something different. And now here's $40 million for me to spend in a contract that's 4 or 5 years old already. I mean, it's just such utter nonsense, all of this stupid paperwork.
And you're already so much better than Pretty Daddy. You made a bloop sound that was like a real drop. And I'm going to give you because I have expunged the word infinity from my vocabulary.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the Infinity Sports Network. Did it ever strike you that it was ironic that it's not lost on you? It's not that the Infinity Sports Network, our former employer, was in fact not infinite?
No, there is that. It's also the history of the name of our network is pretty comical too. In a good way, not in a dismissive way, but we were we were CBS Sports Radio for a while after CBS Sports didn't do radio. And then one day a boss was like, we're renting our name to somebody. We should get that back. And then all of a sudden we had 3 different names in 4 days.
I don't want to call, because I am happy to call out certain colleagues. Not this one. I like this guy. I don't really know. But there's a particular host who it happens, right?
Yeah.
Made a mistake. Mistakes happen. Some, I would argue, powerful figure in the sports world sort of grabbed onto it to just have some drama. And because of that, the bosses at CBS Sports, where I used to work, we're like, wait, they have the name? We got
out of radio in 2012. What's going on here?
I'm glad they were paying attention. Glad they were paying. All right. Spike Eskin just chastised people for fake breaks. I don't know if you saw this or for throwing to break on podcasts.
Yeah.
I'm sure it might be directed at me. And by the way, Spike pays for this podcast, which is incredibly kind.
So he could be listening.
First paid subscriber. I think he might be. He might. So Spike, you're not wrong, but it's a bit.
What?
Spike used to call me and be like, "You got to do these 8 things," and I'd be like, "Yeah, it's a good idea," and I just wouldn't do them. And now I don't have a radio job, so I don't know. Maybe Spike was probably right. We're gonna do a fake break. I just wanted to ask Andrew that question. To watch this in the technology. I do this to D-Cell and I feel good about it. I do it to Andrew. I kind of feel bad. He gone. But we're gonna come back to him. It's fake break. It is what it is. Listen to the commercial. Don't listen to the commercial. I don't really care. I'd rather go to BillRyder.substack.com and pay for it. Either way, thanks for being here. What is below deck? Don't tease, they say, but I just did, and we'll figure out what is next. It's in 3 seconds.
You're listening to the Writer Than You podcast.
I mean, look at that. Look at the technology master that I am. You know what?
I am flabbergasted.
We all are. I'm very excited about Truth or Bogusch coming up whenever the hell we get to it. Okay.
It was a great ad, by the way, during the break. I'm glad I stuck around for it.
It's helpful, right?
Yeah, I'm buying too.
Yeah. We're all buying. What by the way, this is behind the paywall. Well, I'm gonna make them pay for Andrew Bogusch.
I'm a little honored by this. I feel like I don't think anyone's ever actually paid for me and my services in a while, so I appreciate it.
I think they will, because there's a lot of paid subscribers and a few non-paid subscribers who have been hitting me up a lot, asking for the Bogues, and I said no. I
gotta get diesel on 6 times first.
I gotta get diesel a microphone that I just sent him a microphone. The guy's a mess. All right. What you wanted to talk below? I don't know what below deck is. Should I know this? Is it a pop culture? Is it a sports thing I miss? Is it hockey? What's happening?
Oh, it's not sports or hockey. I mean, I'm surprised that you don't know that you don't know it exists in general. I don't think you need to know specifics, or if I asked you to give me all of the spin-offs, the different geographical locations of below deck, because there's below deck med, there's below deck down under, there's below deck sailing yacht. I don't need those specifics, but I'm surprised that
what are the words you're saying?
You don't know that it exists on Bravo. You don't watch anything on Bravo. No Real Housewives, no Summer House, no nothing.
I will say this, and I will say this in fairness. 15 years ago, when I lived in Kansas City, Lori would watch Project Runway, and we had a small place, and so I had to listen to it.
Yeah.
And I pretended I didn't watch it, but then I knew something had gone horribly wrong when I go, I exclaimed, Victor got cut. His patterns are perfect. So that's the only Bravo show I've ever watched.
All right, and that's old school Bravo, because that hasn't been on Bravo in a while, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't even watch Bravo. I don't know. Is Bravo? I guess it still exists.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, I need sometimes my brain to not work, right? So it's kind of on like, and it just is noise in the background. But below deck, man, I need to be rich so I can. You don't know nothing. So it's a show based on a yacht, and it's a reality show.
Okay.
With the crew of the yacht, and then, however, I don't know how long the season is, but there's different charter guests that come on and off the boat, and there's issues on the boat during the charter, and then they go out at night and they get drunk and they hook up, and there's
they all sleep together.
Of course. So I mean, it's nonsense. But that's the idea of the show. So to sit there and watch these 20-somethings who obviously are all beautiful and all talented and all charming and whatever, and chiseled in great shape, unlike you and I, they don't need backwards hats to hold their balding, greasy hair back in the morning. So like it simultaneously gets like the break that I need and like a little bit of quiet, but then also makes me feel completely inadequate as a man, as like a boatmate. Like, you need me to tie a knot? No chance. So yeah, but I love that show. Very guilty pleasure.
I'm sure you're in the right headspace for feeling like less of a man like I am right now. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. All right. So are they really like the non-crew members, the guests on the ship? You think they're really like sailing around? Like, do you think it's a real, or is it all a put? Do you think there's real people that go, I want to sail from here to here?
Well,
there's a TV camera here.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's been on for a while. So now it's jumped the shark and everybody knows what they're getting into, right? Like, you try to be on it because you want to get more famous as a crew member, or you're, pseudo rich and famous. So you want to be on below deck as one of the guests of the boat. But I mean, it's a real industry where you just like get on a boat in the Mediterranean, you float around for a little bit, and you've got a 5-star chef and all this crazy stuff, and they take you to different beautiful locations, and then they bring you back and you go home or go on your merry way on the next leg of your trip. So it's a real thing in general, but obviously now it is all completely harnessed for television reasons. But like the first season or two below deck, when it was still new and no one knew about it, and it wasn't as entertaining, everything was legitimate. It was real people with real boating experience and kind of, regular rich guests. And but now everything is crazy and over the top, of course.
Did the crew members somehow get hotter as the years went on? I'm assuming.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
All right. Last week, I was in Barcelona last week. I want to talk about like sort of your life post-work because I have no money coming in, but I'm spending a lot of money, and it's an interesting. I've been very good with my money my whole life, and that is going away. I was in Barcelona with Lori and the kids for ski week. So dumb. And I did a show with listener Bryce where I ranked every TV show that is, the concept is if it's still on the air, if it hasn't had its series finale, so Severance would count, for example.
Okay.
I've watched it, I ranked it, and we sort of went through it in reverse. I'm going to read you my top 10, and I want you to tell me where Below Deck would rank here.
Okay.
Okay. And then generally give me which of these you've seen very quick. Okay, so number 1, I'm going to go in order. I went The Pit, which I wasn't going to watch, and it won the Golden Globe, and it's amazing. Oh my God. Are you watching The Pit?
We've watched the first season. We have not started the second yet.
I think it's amazing. I have Severance at 2, White Lotus at 3, which I forgot last time. Some people pointed it out. Shrinking at 4, although I don't like this season as much. I'm going to drop it. Slow Horses at 5.
Love that show.
Yeah, I know. I need to put it higher. Pluribus at 6, which I think could go way up or way down as the seasons move forward. I have Fallout at 7, which a listener of this podcast, I never really wanted to watch it. It's almost swore for the first time. It's amazing, dude. Walter
what is it?
What's the main actor?
What's it on?
It's on Amazon, and it's basically a post-apocalyptic. I don't want to say too much. It's a post-apocalyptic sort of event. But it has the best. I think it has the best opening scene that I've ever seen in TV. It's 15, the opening scene, 12, 15 minutes. If you're bored, watch. Well, be careful because I watched the opener and I downloaded every episode and watched it on the flight. Yeah, I couldn't stop. I have Landman at 8, guilty pleasure. I have The Agency, which I think is also on Amazon. It's a very sort of niche spy thriller, but it's got
I think that's a Showtime Paramount thing. I think.
Oh, you're right. It is Paramount. Which
that's Michael Fassbender.
That is, yeah.
Yes,
yeah. It's a great show.
Saw that one.
Industry at 10. So those are my top 10. Would Below Deck get in there?
Well, the thing I can't speak to now, so 2 things. I have not seen Pluribus yet. I'll be honest. You and I are both in SAG-AFTRA from our previous employment. So it's voting season. We have until next Friday to put in our votes for the SAG Awards, and we get digital copies of all these things. So I'm actually trying.
Oh, I've never done that.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch the things that I haven't watched. Like I watched Marty Supreme, the Timothée Chalamet movie.
Do you like it?
It's okay.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. I don't do well with characters and storylines that like the fact that he always keeps. I don't want to give anything away. But like the fact that everything keeps going wrong, I don't like those things. Like at some point, you got to just check yourself out, or like I have no sympathy for him for all the things he finds himself in. But I mean, he's great.
He's a great actor.
Yes, and the ping pong scenes are good, I guess. Like, but it's a fine movie, but I don't think it's the best one that I've seen yet this year.
Can we talk about real quick on this? And I did went viral, relatively speaking, for me. But I did a clip on this or went on YouTube or something. What's up with the vampire scene? So for those of you who don't, I brought this up on a previous pod. There's a moment at the movie. There's Marty Supreme is Timothée. I can't say the guy's last name.
Chalamet.
Good old chameleon guy. Chalamet is the protagonist, and the antagonist is the dude from the Mark Cuban show I've never seen, Shark Tank.
Right.
Kevin O'Leary, right? That's his name?
I don't know, but
I don't know.
I didn't know he was not on Shark Tank.
It is not a supernatural film. There's nothing supernatural about it. It's about a guy trying to be a ping pong star back in the day. There's no supernaturalism whatsoever in it. And then all of a sudden, this bad guy goes, I'm a vampire. I've been alive for 250 years. And it was such a one-off. I Googled it. Yeah. He's a vampire. He's actually a vampire. I guess part of the script, they had a scene that they got rid of where he like turns Timothée Chalamet at the end of the thing. He's a vampire. What?
I got to check your internet history. This feels like you're down the wrong Reddit rabbit hole here.
He is a vampire.
I don't believe you. I thought that was a weird like a weird gladiator speech. Like I'm a vampire. Right. No one can kill me. I didn't think it was a literal admission by him.
How dumb is that? We digress. All right.
Yeah. So my point was I've been watching other things that are part of this voting thing. So that's why I'm a little late on some of the newer stuff. Plus, a lot of my watching was on my commute in and out of the city, which hasn't existed for 2 months.
Yeah.
So I'm also a little bit behind on that front as well.
Damn you, Infinity!
Yeah, seriously, and beyond.
Oh,
So
hold on.
I can't speak to Pluribus. I can't speak to Pluribus, Fallout, or Industry because I have not seen them. Now,
okay, they're good.
Industry, I feel bad that I haven't seen because I keep seeing people say it's amazing and it's underwatched and people need to see it. So
it's amazing.
Right.
It is 23% pornography.
Okay. All right.
And
so
like, I'm not going to lie. That would occasionally be a draw, I guess. But I now fast forward through the sex scenes now because I'm just like, there'll be this amazing plot point, and then it'll just be 11 minutes of a main character. Just what? Like with a random, like what? It just fast forward. But it's basically Succession in England,
right?
With less humor and more accuracy.
Okay.
But poor people trying to make it, not rich people trying to make it.
Now, just to reconnect that I used to watch a lot of these things on the railroad coming into and out of Manhattan. I can't tell you how many times the ticket guy would come to my chair to ask for my pass, and I'm in the middle of something I didn't want any other adult to see at the moment. Like, why are you watching this at 4:30 in the morning, sir? I'm like, I can't help what's in episode 3 of this show. It's not my bad, but yeah. So anyway.
If you've been watching Industry, you would have been asked to leave the train several times.
Yeah, or to share my screen with the whole
get
train.
Off the now. We've told you already. Yeah.
So
would Below Deck fit on here anywhere?
Well, I mean, again, I with incomplete grades on Fallout, Pluribus, and Industry, I can't put it past any of the other things that I've seen.
Okay.
So I guess I could go as high as number 7, but my guess is after I see a few of these things, Below Deck will finally probably top out at number 11.
So you and I you worked at CBS Sports Radio, which became Infinity Sports Radio, which was not Infinite. I'm never going to stop making that joke. For the entirety of its existence, I showed up in 2017. And Zach Gelb made sure to point out, left for 18 months so he could be the longest tenured guy. And Zach, chill, bro. He's not listening. Yeah, it was the whole thing. Whatever. And then I came back after 10 months and was there until the end. How are you? And obviously I had another gig and that went away before that. So you and I are both unemployed. How, if you don't mind me asking, and this isn't unique to our business, although it's not rare in our business. This is something a lot of people deal with. I never had. How are you doing with not having a job?
Yeah, I think I'm still like generally okay. It's still without getting in like, I'm okay still for a little bit. I think the real fear and panic will kick in like a month from now. Like I feel like April 1st for some reason in my head is like I need to be going more in the right direction by April 1st. Because if I'm being honest, and it may end up being to my detriment long term, we like you said, I had that job for 13 years, and for I don't know, the last 9.5 or 10, I was getting up at a godforeseen hour. So like my body and my mental state at times was a mess. So like I've kind of just taken a little bit of time here to like maybe detox a little bit and get everything kind of back in the right frame of mind and stuff like that. But the thing that is scary for me is it's not just that we all of us, whether you're on air or off at the network, that we're all out of work. It's just like there's just not actually jobs to get. It's not this one accounting firm closed, so I'm going to go knock on the next door, or I'm going to move from Target to Macy's, or I don't know what the right example is, but it's for all of our closest friends, the ones that have been on the show here with you, like they're all very, very good at their jobs. Yeah. And if it was just like, okay, here's 8 jobs, they're going to get those jobs based on their resume, their way they would interview, their work ethic, whatever. But there's just not the way the industry is going. Those jobs just don't exist. So it's not even about like, can I get a job? It's like, what job is there to get at the moment?
So I have this interesting, and look, I'm not going to pretend not rich, but I've been very blessed in that I've always had a paranoia about not having money and not being able to support my kids, my wife.
Right.
So I worked 2 jobs for the most part for the last 15 or 17 years. And I'm not complaining, you're not either, but I was always tired. I was never rested. And you're one of the few people, I think, who surpassed me for just physically damaging their bodies. Because you would get up at what? 3 a.m.? You would wake up at 3 a.m. every day?
I would say 3:20, 3:30. Yes.
I've never done that. I've gotten up at 4. So I've had this weird situation where I need to make money at some point, right?
Right.
I've chosen a very affordable place to live, though, Manhattan Beach, California.
Correct.
I'm so screwed.
So you got that going for you.
Got to get my daughter through high school, 18. And look, if you're listening, I'm not complaining. Like, I've had a great life, and I got to be Peter Pan, like Andrew forever, and do sports. But I thought I would be a lot more stressed and freaked out and not wanting to go through my savings and whatever severance we got from Odyssey. And they were honestly, I thought they were great to us on the way out. A very different experience than my other job that I left. So I personally have nothing but good things to say about the management there, which I don't know if that puts me in sort of a unique territory or not. I am shocked and worried how much I'm enjoying the detox, as you put it. I have friends in Manhattan Beach and in LA that I really haven't spent time with in the 5-6 years I've been back here. I went to a buddy's house last night and just had pizza and beer and we hung out for 3 hours. Something I did not do in the previous 6 years. I'm getting up at 6 in the morning. And it's so different than 4:15, or that I just feel like I sleep in every day. I'm happier. My kids have told me I'm a better dad. I just went to Barcelona. I'm going back to Europe in April because my parents are going to be in Florence in a villa as retirees. And I thought, how long? You don't know how long. I'm really enjoying it. And I'm wondering when the fear and the panic is going to set in, as it should.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing is, like you said, the fact that we don't have a job is disheartening, but the company did, they did take care of us. I don't think it's a big deal now. Like we knew for 2 months that we were closing. So we had extra time to look around. We had extra paychecks before they were going to disappear. Yep. Because I was there for so long, my kind of severance setup is different than other people. So I also So I guess what I'm trying to say is I have, other than losing my job, right? I have very few things to actually worry about right now. There's too many guys at our place who were young and had full-time jobs for the first time for less than a year, for 18 months, like that, because they weren't there that long. Then their severance is different. And so the the runway is different for them. Or, I also benefit. I'm lucky. My wife has a very good job. I was already getting my health insurance through her. So that's that's amazing. One less thing to worry about too. So it's okay for now, but at some point, all the good stuff and this runway runs out. So I know that is coming, and I know that the odds of me finding one job to do full time are very slim. So I'm already preparing myself for doing 3 or 4 different things, having lulls, or them being super busy for a 3-week stretch. So I know all those things are coming. Working nights, working mornings, working weekends, working holidays. I get that, but it's just, it has been just on an emotional level. It's been freeing to not have the schedule, because
I agree,
as you said, for a decade, my life was my life was basically decided on, I need to go to bed so I can get up, because I was petrified of sleeping through alarms and not showing up for work or whatever. So, the amount of things that I didn't do, especially during the week, because I had to go home and get my crap ready for the next day and be in bed and iron clothes and leave them in a different room so I wasn't waking anybody up, getting dressed at 3:30 in the morning. It was a great job, but it was a lot. And everything, it was contextually speaking, it was taxing. So the fact that I just go to bed when I want to go to bed is such a huge win for the last 2 months.
It is. And we'll all have to go back to it if we get to.
Right.
And you said earlier, our business isn't like going from Macy's to Target. It may be like going to Macy's and Target. I mean, it isn't lost on me that,
and I've already, I know people who are, and I don't know what the right word is. I don't want to use the wrong word. If I've got to go stock shelves at Trader Joe's, I'm going to do it. It is what it is.
Me too. I talked to a buddy yesterday. I won't say his name, but you'd know his name. People might know his name in our business, right? In our sort of sports media ecosystem, well known, a lot of people. And he is, without any bitterness, strongly he's going to give it a few more months, and he's going to go work at Lowe's. And he is very. And by the way, this isn't unique to sports media. This is happening to people all over America, and it's part of the process. And I think you hit on something. I don't want to speak for you, but I think we're in the same boat. We had our careers, and I hope that's not past tense forever, but it sounds like we've been able to save some money. Our wives are in positions where they have jobs. Like my health care goes away in May, but Lori's got health care, so that helps. A lot of our buddies we worked with, some of the guys that are on the pod with me, they were at the, you got to prove it in your 20s and 30s, and there's this light at the end of the tunnel that's real, that just evaporated for them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and that's like that. And I think my feelings are legitimate. I don't think I'm like compensating or deflecting or whatever, but like it was hard for me to be pissed about the situation as it was really like, as November was becoming December, and then December was becoming the closing date and what was going to happen. And like, it was hard for me to be perpetually upset about it, because generally speaking, I was still in a better spot than a lot of people. And I didn't want to be a jerk by huffing and puffing and pouting when I wasn't a 25-year-old guy who finally got that first real job, and now it disappears. Like, I can't be angrier than that person.
We did have some huffers and puffers, and I won't make you say their name. I like Bart Winkler, and Bart, like I was a little hard on Bart at times, but actually I don't know him. I kind of like his, when he's not complaining, I kind of like him on social media. I don't know Bart, but I actually kind of like him from a distance. His producer, not so much, who got really mad at me, which you don't have to get involved in. But I understand the sentiment people are going through. Maybe it's because I lost a job 6 months earlier. I sort of been complaining doesn't help. It just doesn't. And there are people across America who are losing their jobs, who don't have savings and don't have spouses with jobs. And it just, anyway, it can be worse.
Well, and even, I don't know how I would feel if I was you or Bart or Maggie and Perloff and I had a thing with my name on it. Like, as much as I love being part of your show and being part of their show and being part of the DA show, like, nothing was actually mine, right? So my job on the base level of doing updates, I've known for years that our days were numbered, because the industry just doesn't do updates anymore. In fact, this might have been the last place that was doing updates, and the Fan in New York was one of the last places doing regular updates. So I always knew that we were, at some point, we were going to die, our little tiny corner of the network, because at some point, because everything is about saving money and cutting down. And, after a while, the only thing left to do, if they were like, hey, we need X amount of dollars, the only thing that was going to get there was going to get rid of the updates, because that was 3 full-time people plus benefits, plus like that. That's where
union minimum
cost is. Right. So like I knew this was coming. So I guess part of me was always prepared for what I was not prepared for was on a random Tuesday in late October to get the, hey, can everybody come to this meeting thing, and now have everybody be gone altogether.
So this is going to be maybe an on the nose sort of analogy metaphor. I'm not smart enough to know the difference, but I think I was the oldest host at the network, or certainly in the range, right? I mean, Zach is younger, certainly much younger than me. And
Perloff, I think, is older than you, although his age is a secret, but I think it's safe to say he's older than you. Yeah.
Okay. So I was one of them. I've been in sports media for the entirety of my career. It's like I was in Game of Thrones, right? Maybe at the beginning of Game of Thrones, if you're a character, you think you're going to make it. But after season 6, when all of your friends and half of your enemies have all been taken out, sometimes just randomly and not fairly, you realize it's going to happen to you. And so I didn't want it to happen. It wasn't enjoyable, especially the double whammy for me back to back.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a surprise, and I didn't take it personally, because I understood in a way that I didn't 10 years earlier. This is just the way that it is in this business. And I haven't talked to these guys, but if you're Zach or you're Bart or you're me at their age, or at a young, maybe Bart's closer to my age, I understand where maybe you don't realize it's not about you. Even though it feels like it's your world's crumbling down. It's just bad luck in the business where that goes around.
So that is, I think, part of the equation for me too, right? And it didn't dawn on me. I heard people say it like in the immediate aftermath of the decision, and I didn't understand what they meant by it at first. But yeah, like when the whole place closes down, you almost can't take it personally. You can be heartbroken that you finally got a show, you finally got a good time slot. Like, you moved off the 2 a.m. show. Now you're during the regular day part. Like, there's a particular thing you can be heartbroken over. But the mad thing, I never felt mad because we all were sent home. It was not a decision about me and my performance and my skill set. It was just like, we're not doing this anymore. And I could wrap my head around that. And like, okay, fine. Like, I'm the victim of that, but I get why they're doing it.
All right. I'm going to do the silver lining BS here, but there are some things that have come out of me not having a job, as we've discussed, that have been amazing. And by the way, I'm a person of faith. Not everybody is. I'm like a liberal believer. So whatever. No, I don't belong to any camp. No, everyone's like, get out of here. But I do think sometimes, or the universe or whatever it is, like my kids have kind of needed me around. My daughter's going to college in 18 months, and I've been able to be a more attentive dad and all that. So maybe on a similar level of importance, some people have been able to become soccer fans. And like, I came to soccer late, right? I came to soccer late. It was 2019. I went to Barcelona, and maybe a year later, I just fell in love with the soccer team because I like the city. And I was like, what have I been doing? It reminds me of the first time I made my daughter and my son eat chocolate ice cream. They screamed and they fought me and they were so pissed. And they were kids, right? I shoved in there and they're, that's what soccer's like. And you've discovered it. This is a little side benefit.
Yeah. I do remember the 94 World Cup that was in the US was a big deal. And I was 14 at the time that summer. And that was a big deal for that summer. Like, I remember playing soccer for the first time. Like, just people were doing it because it was going on in the country. And then I had friends who played it like in high school, and we would walk by the field and watch them play. But, and obviously, whether it was the Olympics or World Cup, like the bigger events. And I guess I don't remember when the Premier League started being on TV regularly here in the States. But if I was watching soccer, it was because it was just on during the day, and it was just something to put on. But I didn't really pay attention to any real part of it until about 5 years ago. And I was watching, there's a Amazon Prime documentary, a series, kind of like Hard Knocks, different Premier League teams. And the first one I watched was on Tottenham.
Oh, you got
screwed.
I'm
like, I know. My
brother's a Tottenham fan.
I know. I was like, I had been looking for a team. I needed a team to care about. And I'm like, this one makes sense. Harry Kane, Son Min-young, like I'm in, like, let's go. And pretty early in that, they like played for the Champions League title.
Oh, I wasn't a fan yet. So you were ahead of me.
I guess so. But now that I like understand how things work, like it just makes sense. Like, I'm like, give me relegation. Let me just buy a player. I'm not going to trade draft picks or anything like that. Like, 3 points for a win, 1 for a draw. That makes sense. Like, goal differential matters. I don't like the NBA Cup here, but give me Premier League, give me FA Cup, give me a champion. Like, the fact that there's all these different competitions weaving their way through. I don't know. It just makes sense. And I feel like a fraud having any emotional attachment to anything this late in my life. But, like Saturday, Sunday morning, it's going to be on my TV and I'm going to be mad. Spurs has a new coach. They're
in a relegation battle.
I know. Can you imagine? I can't, as much as I love it, no thanks. What am I supposed to do next year? Watch championship matches?
Yes, you'll have to watch the championship. I was looking for it, but I can't find it. So whoever it was, I'm sorry. I actually have it in the mailbags, and we'll circle back to it. But by the way, I love Substack. It's so much better than X. There's you can interact with people. I love it. Someone's idea to fix the NBA was to make it 90 teams. You have to steal college basketball teams and have basically 3 30s and relegate. Relegation, non-soccer fans, if you finish in the bottom 3, you go down to the league below you, and then there's a mechanism by which obviously 3 teams come up. There's 2 teams that usually come up in a tournament that gets the final one. And it makes, I'm going to watch the Premier League relegation battle as intensely as I would the NFL playoffs, especially if, Tottenham and there's some other big-ish clubs that are in the mix where it's like, oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, just like imagine the Mets or the Cubs having to win like 80% of their games in September to not have to go down to AAA baseball and be replaced. I mean, it's nuts. But like even here, it does not. It will never happen in America. Even MLS is fighting it. MLS like refuses to have,
because it's too valuable of a commodity for the rich people who own it.
Right. Yeah, you can't run the risk of having your team being demoted.
Right. You can't have the Cubs one day and the Iowa Cubs the next day.
No, you can't.
But but the flip side of this is, the Welcome to Wrexham thing. If people haven't watched this documentary where Always Sunny in Philadelphia guy, I don't know his name, and Ryan Reynolds.
Rob McElhenney.
Which is so disrespectful because he's really the guy behind it. They go and buy a team, and I don't know how they're doing this year, but they're doing well in the FA Cup. I
was going to say, yeah.
They're going to play Chelsea, right?
Yep. They're going to have Chelsea come to their small rebuilt stadium in Wales. That's crazy.
And how are they doing in the championship? Are they competitive?
That I don't know, but I mean the crazy thing is I think they set a record. They tied the record for consecutive years of promotion.
Right.
I think it's 4 straight years where they've moved up a level.
It's insane.
And like if they make the Premier League. And there are still some rules about how you're spending money, and maybe at some point the expose will come out and we'll see that they were fudging this and lying about other things, but maybe they've just legitimately done this absolutely correctly and are going to take a team that I guess used to be a very good team, fell on hard times. If you haven't watched it, I mean, they were playing in a glorified, like somewhere between a high school.
They're in 7th.
Yeah. So like, they're one step away from being in the top level of the best league in Europe because 2 actors took their like gin and cell phone company money and put it together and bought them and have quickly pulled them up all these different levels. It's nuts.
There are a couple wins and there's a lot of games left. I think they do 48 games. It's an insane number of games in the championship.
It's Premier League is 38 because there are 20 teams, right. So you play the other 19 twice. I don't know what the number in the championship is.
There's 24 teams, so you're doing 46 games.
46 games, okay.
So they're only on 32, so there's 14 games left, but they're in the battle to be in the playoff to try and be promoted. So we had I think David, one of our listeners, wanted to on one of the mailbag shows wanted us to help him pick out a team. And so I asked him all these questions, like, what do you listen to? Where you're from? What's your person? And we basically, and he wanted it to be La Liga. And we settled on maybe Atletico or Barcelona or Athletic. And we're like, I just watched some games. And he watched Atletico Madrid just destroy my Barca team. And then he watched Barca just crap on its own face. Can I say, I guess my pod, I can say whatever I want. Against Girona, and he hit me. He's like, they don't look very good. I'm like, no, they haven't. This is what it's supposed to be like. It's such a great game. And it's not on. It's largely on different times in American sports. So La Liga, right. If you're on the West Coast, and I meant to tell this to you, David, pick La Liga because the games are late enough that you don't have to get up at 4 a.m. and watch them. But there's like big games on Wednesday and Tuesday during the week when you and I have time these days.
Yeah, I mean. Give me a Monday or Tuesday. I think there's actually Champions League matches today, this afternoon, because they the whatever they were calling this new setup this year, like the playoff round.
There
is to get into the quarters. Like there are matches today. Sign me up.
Our team's advanced. You're in the relegation battle, but you're in the final 8 in the Champions League.
Make it make sense. Somehow, I guess this means the Premier League is that good because in Champions League, Spurs is actually an impressive team, but they get back home on the weekends and they're getting smacked in the face by everybody.
They fired their coach. For those of you that have no idea what we were talking about, that's what the fast forward button is for. But I hope you listened. All right, you ready for an amazing fake break?
Another one?
Sponsored by Spike Eskin. Sponsored by Spike Eskin. We will be right back.
Welcome back to Writer Than You.
Oh, whisper phone, I'm Andrew Bogusch, and I'm awesome.
Whisper phone, whisper all the way.
Whisper all the way. Andrew Bogusch is great.
Oh, my goodness, the whisper phone.
It's my favorite thing ever.
I'm holding the whisper phone.
Was that the phone?
This is official Writer Than You.
Wow.
memorabilia because this is where I worked at during COVID, and it was at this desk. This phone rang during the show, beginning the lure of the Whisper phone.
Absolutely amazing. I'm very excited because it is time, without further ado,
Truth or Bogusch?
that's all I got. I can't remember. Did we have a truth and Bogusch when you said it, or no? We just had this.
Truth.
Oh, that's all I could find.
Like a separate buy or sell.
Right.
I don't remember,
but I don't know how. Okay, are you ready for truth or Bogusch?
Truth.
I want to play you something that was on a podcast. This is the former president of the United States, Barack Obama.
Aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in what is it?
Area 51.
Area 51. There's no underground facility unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the president of the United States.
All right, truth or Bogusch? Obama knows those aliens are real because they're real. They're here.
Well, I mean, he's also had to backtrack. So truth.
He did. And, dude, what is with the, oh, shucks, what do you call that place? Area 51? Yeah, I couldn't quite recall. Come on, man.
I know. Yeah, no, he got a call from someone was like, hey, Barry, that was a little too much information on the old alien. So could you get back out there?
What are you? He definitely was like, I was just in the moment when you said aliens are real unequivocally.
Yeah, well, and then we went back to my argument, which is it's impossible to think that we're the only living things out there. That was he's like, so they've never been here. Don't worry.
Right.
They've never been to Earth, but
they're too far away.
Mathematically speaking, there's got to be things out there living alongside of us.
I mean, give me a break.
Or Bogusch?
Coaches should kick their own players out of basketball games. Truth or Bogusch?
I'm going to go truth on this, actually. I like this part from Mick Cronin last night. I didn't like the way he attacked the reporter after the game, but if you're going to kick your own player out for a knucklehead foul from behind when you're down by 25, I'm okay with that.
I am too. Mick Cronin, though, dude, I mean, anger management. It's not just a bad film starring Adam Sandler. I mean, I can't stand guys who this I'm better than you. How dare you have the audacity to ask me a single question at a press conference?
Well, and it's just, as somebody else pointed out, how could you possibly sign up to play for him? Like, he has to be, every time this happens, and some are entertaining and whatever, and he's just salty, but every time he does this, I'm thinking kids are throwing their letter from UCLA in the garbage, because why would you want to sign up even for a fairly lighthearted evisceration by your head coach, let alone him really like condemning you while you're wearing their uniform?
So I will give a quick anecdote here, and maybe it's a bad comparison, but when I worked at the Kansas City Star and then when I was at FoxSports.com, but I got to know Frank Martin really well when he was at K-State, and then in South Carolina, obviously he took them to a championship game, and I consider Frank a friend now, and so I'm super biased, and I've done a bunch of stories on him. And then the guy would he'd go to the NCAA tournament, and he'd be like, come and hang out with the team for 3 days. I don't care. Like, he'd let me sit on the bench for a game. He was amazing to me. So I'm biased. But we didn't start off in a good place. And the first time I did a story on him that kind of turned that, when he gave me some access but wasn't really sure about me, because he would swear at his guys and F-bomb them. And I thought the same thing you do about Cronin. Why would anyone play for this guy? And behind the scenes, he was the kindest. It was great. Like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. He was so good to these kids. He authentically cared, is what I should say, even though he expressed it in anger sometimes. Now, I'm not sure I believe that Cronin is that guy, but I wouldn't have believed it on Frank Martin if I hadn't seen it. So maybe.
Yeah, that's fair to put out there, but we don't know what he's like at practice today or when they're back on the bus after all of that. Now, I don't think he's calling the reporter last night that he went after to apologize.
No, he's not.
No, but over the player thing, that's definitely valid. And I think that's why Frank Martin is successful. You can be a jerk. You can be an ass. You can yell, but there has to be an off switch there. But I've been around coaches who are always salty and they don't have long-term success because eventually they run out of allies and nobody wants to work with them or around them or play for them. So it's got to be both things. If you're just one, if you're just nasty, that's not long-term success.
Truth or Bogusch?
I'll say this. There's a lot of, I think, Tom Landry era Cowboys who said they didn't know how he felt about them until they stopped playing. When they were done playing, that's when he changed. When they were players, he was always a hard ass, and they didn't know whether he loved them or hated them. So it's hard to argue with the way he did things.
Bill Snyder, very similar, but Bill Snyder wasn't a screamer, right? It was a silence that people mistook for disdain. I wonder how Landry. I don't remember Landry. I'm too old to remember that.
Yeah, no, I think there were some, maybe not yelling, but definitely like biting and critical comments.
Yeah,
and it never stopped until you were done playing. Then he loved you.
Truth or bogus?
Truth or bogus? Chris Paul is a jerk, and that contributed to his sad exit from the NBA.
I think I have to say truth since you're here.
You can say whatever you want, dude. You give what you think is real.
Truth or bogus? I mentioned you and Chris Paul on Sirius XM NBA radio last Friday night.
No, you did not.
Yeah, because I was on. Actually, was technically where I am Saturday morning for about an hour, and it was the night that Chris Paul had announced he was retiring, and I was going through all the pluses and all defense and whatever, and I was like, but there is another side to Chris Paul's. Like, my good friend Bill Reiter has talked about this and written about it, that Chris has not always handled business correctly and maybe has burned bridges and broken relationship, whatever. So, but then I said, but that's not for today. Today can just be about remembering the
it was for me.
Part.
Not your today. No, I feel bad for him in the way that I feel bad for people when they get what they deserve. And that is a complex. I mean, did I enjoy it? Of course. But I can also understand the nuance. You made a good point about coaches who don't last very long when they treat people badly because they lose allies. Athletes have a different reality when they treat people badly. They last as long as they can play at a high level. But the minute that level goes away, people come for them.
Right. The minute it's no longer worth putting up with, you're in trouble.
That was
Truth or bogus?
That was absolutely truth or bogus. Truth or bogus, this song I'm about to play you is a masterpiece.
Ring, 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 ring.
Whisper phone.
Ring, 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 ring.
Whisper phone.
I've got this feeling.
Good, dude.
So appealing for us to get together and sing. Sing. Ring, 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 ring.
Whisper phone.
Is it a masterpiece?
Of course it is. Truth.
Yeah. Was that was DiBenedetto, right?
Who was smart enough to leave before the place closed.
He landed on it. He deserved. He definitely landed on his feet in a big way.
Yeah.
All right, truth or bogus? I'm being serious, so you need to be, I hope, as well.
All right.
Truth or bogus? Pretty Daddy is kind.
Truth.
Oh, really? That was a hard one, though.
It was a hard one.
It's like Mick Cronin. What happens behind the scenes?
Yeah, because it's almost like I need a third option, because he's not mean, but has he ever done anything nice for me would be the follow-up to that.
Here's the follow-up.
Truth
Different
or
question.
bogus?
Truth or bogus that Pretty Daddy is pleasant?
Oh, bogus.
He's so unpleasant. We did the pod yesterday. I don't know if you mind I say this, but since he doesn't listen to it or pay for it, who cares? Right. He and his wife are in an argument, right? And it happens. And she was there and she said hi to me. And basically I listened to him interact with his wife when she was mad at him. I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah. There were a couple of times where he came to me with situations and I'm like, you're wrong. I was like, you need to end. You need to apologize. I think you're looking at this the wrong way. Pick a different battle. But that's why but even, I've physically seen him recently because,
really?
As you know, he's been at Sirius XM for a while.
Yeah.
And I'm there on occasion once or twice a week. And we happen to finally be there on the same day, but not at a time. My schedule was not conducive to his schedule. So he was salty when I saw him. I was like, oh, it's D-Cell. He's like, you're leaving already? I just got here. And then he's
oh my God, really?
Yeah. So I mean, it is always something.
Yeah, I love the guy, but it's real. Earlier today, I was texting with listener Kevin, founding member, subscriber Kevin, and brother-in-law Kevin. By the way, I love this guy. I already loved him. He's become a super fan of the pod. Him and my wife now listen to the pod. Lori, the other day, pulled an Adam Klug and goes, I can't believe you're funny. Okay, well,
Kluger.
I know. Did I ever tell you this Adam Klug story? That's your guy. Klug once, when he was producing me, I don't know, 2 months in, comes up to me and goes, I got to tell you something. I'm kind of surprised. I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, you're good at radio. You know how to take it. Bleep you, bro. All right. So I was texting with founding member, listener Kevin, and I gave him my theory on beer, on American beer. And I just want you to truth or bogus, you buy this theory. This theory is accurate. Truth or bogus. My theory is that all basic American beer, so Budweiser, PBR, Miller, Coors, right? American lager like that it is not about taste. It's entirely about nostalgia. And your sort of enjoyment of those beers correlates 100% to your memory of when you had them and when you experienced them.
Ooh, I'll give you a conditional truth on this.
Okay.
Because I think so. It's definitely nostalgia. I think there's also just economics because, like, the beers I like to drink are way too much money for one or for a 6-pack in the store. So
I just mean crappy beer. Yeah, I don't mean the hops of the beer where Beethoven music played over them for 6 months. I just mean Budweiser.
Right, but when you can get a bucket of Bud Lights for $6, not 18, like that's. And you're in it for a long day of drinking.
Is Bud Light super cheap?
I mean, it's cheaper than getting some fancy local brewery that's on tap in the place.
Right. Where they name it, Ulysses or whatever.
Right.
A book no one's read.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah. Poseidon's Tears.
What's your Poseidon's? Tasty. Tastes like the ocean. I don't want my beer to taste like the ocean. I want it to be cold. What's your? So I'm a Budweiser 1, PBR 2, Coors Light 3 kind of guy.
I mean, I'm gonna be full snob here. I don't know the last time I had any of those beers. Yeah, I like the Bud Light in my circles. Bud Light, Corona are the ones that I would think go in this category, and those are the ones.
Count? Because it's not really an American beer. I think Corona's disgusting too. Unless they want to sponsor me, in which case have a Corona.
I mean, listen, the summer day, you throw a little lime wedge in there, turn it upside down, and get the wedge in the bottle. Like, I mean, we're off and running. So those are the ones that end up nearest to me. But I could probably count the Bud Heavies I've had on one hand in my entire life.
I had 3 of them last night with my pizza at my buddy's place.
Good for you.
It was so good. This is another.
How many Marlboro Reds did you smoke?
0. I don't smoke. It's true. Stuart Kovacs, friend of ours, also a part of this podcast. Truth or bogus that the amount of vacation he took the last 2 or 3 years at our old shop was a legitimate problem and issue?
Bogusch. Bogusch.
You're such a coward.
No. I can't. The illegal vacation fight that I picked is with Pete Bellotti. I don't have time to do any accounting on Stu's whereabouts.
You had to fight with Pete Bellotti?
No, that's my bit. Like, Pete was in charge of vacation days. Like, I went to Pete to say, hey, I need this time off. And I think most people did. Me? So then Pete basically just gave Pete infinity days off since he was the accountant of that department.
Yeah, see, I dealt with David, but I think it's because David knew I wouldn't deal with Pete. So it was one of those. All right. Here's a little news.
Or bogus.
Trying to be a responsible sports podcast. Kyrie Irving, who will turn 34 next month, will sit out the rest of the season to try and better heal from his torn ACL. Truth or bogus, you think Kyrie will ever be a top-level impact, second best player on a semi-contender team again?
I'll go truth on that, actually. Wow. Yeah, I think there's one more high-level year in Kyrie.
I mean, you put him on there with Cooper Flagg, and if you're right, that's an interesting basketball team.
Yeah, I mean, especially now he's legitimately taking the rest of the season off to really fully recover from the torn ACL. He's 110% for opening night in October. Let's go.
Oh, I didn't write this down, but I came up with the perfect fix for NBA tanking in the draft. It's going to sound radical. I'm waiting to process it for 2 seconds before you truth or bogus whether this is a good idea. I think that there should be a 30-year-long snake draft where every team is locked in. So if you have the first pick in year 1, they'd have to do it in 33 because I think you can't. I think you can trade draft picks 7 years out. Year 1, if you have the first pick, the next year you have the 30th, then you have the 15th, then you have the 16th, then you have the 2nd, then you have the 29th. But it's a 30-year snake draft.
Yeah,
that's it. It has no bearing on performance. So if you get screwed, you know the first pick for 30 years, you know the first pick for 30 years. But it would be, you'd have to come up with an order where it's relatively balanced. You can trade those picks. Truth or bogus, that could solve this problem.
I'm gonna go bogus.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm gonna defend the need for the draft to fix bad teams. Like that's how you get better is you drafting Cooper Flagg or whoever you're gonna, Darren Peterson, AJ DeBanza. But all that being said, I defended. Wasn't bothered by tanking for the longest time, but man, this year is like it's bad.
It's bad.
It's like you know what? You should sit out the second half. I worked that Wizards Nets game where Washington, like right before tip, were like, "Oh, guess who's not going to play today? Alex Sarr, Bilal Coulibaly, and who else did they hold out that day? A third guy." That they were just like, oh, they don't feel well. They're not because they won their previous game by accident. That game. So they had to lose this next game. So like it's a lot. But to me, what makes sense, I think, is something along the lines of yours, but putting on like some kind of cap system where, like in particular, you couldn't have a top 3 pick in back-to-back years, like something that because you like the base level. Tearing it down to the studs, being awful, having the most ping pong balls so you can get Cooper Flagg or whoever you think is going to save your franchise. Like that should be available to teams, but we have to figure out a way to make them stop and then go back in the right direction sooner than they are. So whether you say, okay, you had the first pick this year, that means you can't pick any higher than 5 next year. Like something like that, I think makes a little more sense to me.
I mean, I get it. I would say that's okay. It's a copycat league. Every major league is a copycat league. Every major business is largely a copycat business. But the real trailblazers, right? You want to be Amazon. You do something people think is stupid for a long time, and it turns out it was really smart. I mean, Bill Simmons, and I don't dislike Bill Simmons. I just never really consumed his content. But that guy understood the power of blogs and sort of media years in advance. Just like Sam Presti understood the CBA in advance. And this is a deadly combo. Sam Presti's also great at drafting. So his ability to understand the value of some of the moves that he made and all the picks he collected and then to utilize those picks is incredible. But other GMs trying to do the same thing, it isn't going to work because they're not as smart as Sam Presti. They're just, it's not.
But how much we have to help those guys?
I mean, here's what I will say though. There are Cooper Flaggs, there are LeBron James, there are Anthony Davis's, Kyrie Irving's. Steph's not a top 3 pick. Giannis not even close to a top 3 pick. Jokic was a second round pick, if I remember this right.
Yeah.
Or end of the first. I mean, it's
second.
Yeah, I mean, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green fell. Klay for silly reasons. I mean, you just sort of go down the list of the superstars that are out there. So this is something that some GMs have told me, and these are the GMs who are better at scouting than other guys. But I'm scout better. I mean, there I should do this story now that I don't care what NBA GMs think of me. There are different levels of GM. Some GMs scout all the time, but scouting's miserable. Like being out, if you're a general manager. So Neil O'Shea used to be the Portland Trailblazers GM. And I'll just tell this story. And some people don't like Neil. I like Neil. Whatever. When I lived in Kansas, no, I didn't live in Kansas. I flew back to Kansas City from LA in order to have lunch or something with Bill Self for work or something. And I was at a Southwest terminal at 6:30 in the morning trying to catch a flight out of Kansas City, and Neil O'Shea walked off that as the GM of the Portland Trailblazers to go scout Kansas or K-State. And I won't name this guy, but there's a GM who I really like who was a great scout, was always scouting. He was a number 2 at a place. He got a GM job, and he stopped scouting. We would talk, and he stopped going on the road because it's hard to get up and run when you're sleeping on silk sheets. And my point is, it's also lazy, the tanking thing. I hope we get the first pick. If these guys would just put in the effort to actually scout all the time, I think they would do a better job of drafting at 7 or 12 or 15 potentially.
Yes, but I don't know how to make that happen. right? Like I don't know how to make guys better at their jobs. And is it about the owner picking the wrong guy to be the GM? Is it a GM making a conscious choice to do
I
the
think it's
job
taken away. You're
differently?
not going to have the first pick this year. You're going to have the 7th, and you better scout like you have the 7th because you're not. There's no because the lottery happens after the college season's over. So there's a lot of guys who get unlucky and are like, "Oh, bleep, I didn't scout that deep that well."
Yeah, but I'm like again, so that's why I'm okay with figuring out something that prevents you from perpetually being at the bottom. Even if you are at the bottom, that there's a way, like I said, if you pick first this year, then you can't pick, you maybe institute some kind of like 3-pick buffer that if you're back in the lottery, now the best you can pick is 3 spots worse than your previous year, something like that. Because at least then maybe that makes somebody be better at their job, or at least they don't try to be the worst team in the NBA for the entire year. But I don't know how to fix somebody's individual like skill set or work ethic. It's the same reason why I don't think there needs to be a requirement to go to college or do something in between high school and the NBA. If the motive of that is to protect people from making the wrong decision, no thanks. If somebody makes the wrong decision to skip college and be in a 2-round NBA draft and they don't get picked, I don't mean to be a jerk, but them's the breaks.
I came out of Dubuque, Iowa, and there are a lot of smart people in that town whose parents were blue collar and who didn't really have college as a goal. And there's one guy I'm thinking of I worked with at Walmart. My parents made me work 40 hours a week during the summer and 30 hours a week during the school year. And it was actually the best life lesson I ever got. And this guy, I won't say his name, great, really, really smart, was going to go to college, had a whole life, got his girlfriend pregnant, and decided, I'm just going to stay at Walmart. It'll be fine. And the economics of that shifted on him. I saw him years later. And my point is, he doesn't get a redo, right? Like, he doesn't have people saying, oh, man, it's so unfair, the system. Life's unfair, and you got to. And so I'm with you. If some 17 or 18-year-old kid gets no sympathy when he chooses his life's future as a 17 or 18-year-old because, he made a decision he's going to stay and work, then the same can be true for a remarkable athlete, and they make a good call or a bad call. That's a really terrible story, and I did not bring it home. I really didn't stick the landing. That's all truth or bogus myself. My point is, life's hard.
Right.
It is what it is.
Yeah, and you can't make infinite rules. There's that word again. Infinity rules to protect people who are in the wrong job, doing the job incorrectly, half-assing it as well. They can't all be bailed out by all these different setups and protections.
I never asked you this.
Truth or bogus?
Truth or bogus? You can express any thoughts or opinions on I'm so glad I did it, on my Infinity Sports Network rankings list that I did. So those of you who don't know, I was joking for years I was going to do a ranking of Infinity Sports Network hosts, and I did it. I ranked every host I ever overlapped with.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I don't remember the list at the top of my head to have a reaction to it right now.
I can read it to you.
Please.
Do you want me to find it?
Yeah.
Did I put you on there? I can't remember.
You shouldn't have. I'm not a host.
Let's see, just host rankings here. Well, you were. I don't know. You kind of crossed over into that.
Nah, I mean, me filling in for people doesn't count.
Okay, here we go. You ready?
Yes.
Oh, that's not it. I guess I could have prepared this a little bit better, right?
Or I could have remembered it.
Yeah, it really pissed some people off. I think Zach
so did the very random, not supposed to be important draft that me and Pat Boyle and Pete Bellotti did.
Oh, that thing was.
I think we lost friends over that.
That thing. Okay, here we go. Is this it? I think it is. It's certainly not. It's the same thing. This is great radio.
Go to break. Do you have any more breaks to go to?
Here we go. Host rankings. You ready? Do you want it in reverse order? I'll just give you order. Number 1 was Rome.
Sure.
Some of this might have been a little strategic and tactical. Rome was not. Some of it was designed for maximum pain. I'm not going to lie.
Right.
Number 1 was Rome. Number 2 was Tiki. Number 3 was Pharrell. Number 4 was McAfee. I'm not a McAfee guy, but 6 out. Number 5 was Jimmy Lawrence. Number 6 was Rich Eisen. I don't like Rich Eisen. Number 7 was Sean Marash. Number 8 was Gio and Jones. Number 9 was your guy DA. 10 was JR Sports Brief. 11 Maggie and Perloff. 12 Zach Gelb. 13 Bill Ryder. 14 Pat Boyle. 15 BT. 16 Bart Winkler. Last Taz and Moose. That's pretty accurate.
I can tell you right now that Zach Gelb still does not accept number 12 on that list, I bet.
I put him one ahead of me. You think I mean that? You think I was...
Well, but this is the problem when me and Boyle and Bellotti did ours. Pete picked people he didn't even like. And like he picked a show that set itself on fire, basically, and people thought it was a real thing and got really insulted by it.
So, by the way, Tiki, and I think Tiki's very good, but Tiki also has a massive sales force, right, which matters in local radio. And
yes,
Pharrell, I think, was great. McAfee's not my cup of tea. I probably underrank him for his success. Amy Lawrence is not someone I had a relationship with, and I'm not sure I was the most popular host there, so I'm not casting stones, but she certainly probably wouldn't have finished first in the popularity contest. But I actually thought, like, for what she did overnight, and she had an audience, maybe I could have put DA higher. Maybe I put Maggie Perloff too high. Honestly, I think I put Zach too high. I thought it was nice.
You put Zach too high.
I did. I mean, I don't know. All right.
And I would argue over just the semantics of, Sean, I guess, was like a co-host at the end of his time at the network, but I don't even know if Sean qualifies to be on this.
But he made it to fan, right? So it's like,
yeah,
he made it off the. I'm like Rose, right? And I see someone actually made it off the ship somehow and isn't even in the cold water. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna rank them pretty high on the Titanic power rankings. You got off.
Yeah, but I think Sean gets at the very best, he gets kind of like rolled into your DA ranking because you kept Maggie and Perloff together, you kept Taz and Moose together.
I separated some, I kept some together.
You did separate BT and Tiki.
I did. I think that's pretty accurate.
I don't know that I would make major changes to it. I mean, the only thing that I ever owned up for the version that we did was Pharrell's name never came back into my head as I was thinking about all the people in the network. And it was just because we did this with like 40 seconds of prep work, but Pharrell deserved to be an hour exercise. I think there's a couple of tweaks I might make in the first handful of names, but generally speaking, that's, I know it's not great to be 12, but it's fine.
It's fine, Zach. I mean, we're just gonna fun. All right, truth or bogus?
I'm just picturing in Gelb's bedroom. There's a picture of you on a dartboard, and he's just throwing things. Or I can name all 11 hosts that came before me in Bill Ryder's power rankings.
Zach's a good kid. Do you want to hear two Zach stories I've never told on the air? Because they're going to make you uncomfortable. Okay. One is, so again, I'm not some superstar, but one is I did LA radio for 2 years. I did drive time radio in LA, and for better or worse, I had a meeting with Chris Olivero, who convinced me that I could do they would let me do solo in LA, that I could do a solo show, and then he would let me do that. And that's part of the reason I left AM 570. Also, I had a miserable host and a miserable producer. I couldn't. It was just a toxic. It was a toxic dynamic. Maybe it was me. Whatever. My point is, I'd done LA radio. I went to the Super Bowl with Stuart Kovacs, with Zach Gelb and his dad once, and we were drinking, but I hadn't been drinking yet. And Zach started. Zach was sort of holding court, and he wasn't a full-time host yet. And he was, to me, I'm like, he's a kid, sort of lecturing, but that's fine. I don't care. Then he told me how he had experience with major market radio in a way that I didn't, because he had done some night work at Philadelphia. And I go, Zach, I've hosted full time in Los Angeles. And Zach proceeded to tell me that Philadelphia was a more important market than LA, and LA wasn't a major market. And I was so mad, and I was pretty like forceful in my pushback. And I was so mad I went to the bar to get a drink, and his dad came over and basically was like, "How you doing, man? Zach's a good kid." So, but that's always in the back of my mind was that.
Oh, I wish I was there for that.
Oh, and poor Stu, because I wasn't quiet in my response. So poor Stu was like, had never seen me get that listen, bro. And then the second thing is that Zach, understandably, asked me a month ago to subscribe to and promote or whatever his YouTube page, right? Cool. For most, but I wrote back and like, sorry, man, but you don't even support my Substack. And when I asked you on the air to do it, you took a shot at it because I just done these rankings. And he's like, I follow you on Substack. And then 30 seconds later, because no one realizes Substack sends you, right. Gelb has followed you on Substack. And I like Zach. I think Zach's a really good kid, a good guy.
Nobody hustles harder than Zach.
He works his ass off, dude.
But man, do I wish I was at that Super Bowl conversation. I would just sat back, feet up on the chair,
Dude.
Jack and Coke, like, please proceed, boys.
I'll never
keep this
forget.
one going.
There was also a waitress who was extremely attractive, of which I had zero interest because I'm happily married, who was just put out. And she was put out that I wanted to pay my bill, and she broke my credit card. She didn't want to use the credit card machine, so my credit card got shredded in half. And this, like, right after this conversation, LA's not a real market. I mean,
and as a New Yorker, I got nothing for Philadelphia. Even if he was 100% right, there's no way I'm picking Philadelphia over any other city.
He also, maybe this is me being
Des
elitist.
Moines more important than Philadelphia.
Right. He wasn't a full-time host yet. He was like a fill-in kid who was lecturing me on radio, and my LA experience was meaningless. Like, okay, man. Okay. I'm just saying.
And now all those stories can't happen. There are no more news stories.
I miss... Dude, I mean, there was the time that I screamed at poor Rich Ackerman on the phone for 5 crazy minutes.
Over pizza, steaks, something like that?
He owed me steaks, and I basically was making fun of him on the air, and he called and started yelling at me, and I don't like being yelled at. So I was like, oh, we're yelling? And then he's like, oh, and he like showed up the next day with $300 in cash.
Are those all singles, Zach? What have you been up to?
Oh, that's the wrong pot.
It's like glitter on there.
All right, here's my last one.
Truth or
bogus? And I sent you something to sort of preface this. Truth or bogus? You are afraid of AI?
Yeah, truth.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid to say it out loud because they're probably listening.
This is fun, dude. We should do this thing. I don't know how often you want to do this, but however often you want to do it, I would love to just chopping it up.
Well, I want to do it more than D-Cell does it, and he's been on a couple of times now, so I'm playing from behind.
He's on twice a week.
Twice a week?
Yeah.
Wow. And he has a job.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
You're way behind.
I'm way behind. And I'm not doing twice a week, so he can have it. Never mind.
You can do it, but if you want to do 3 times a month or 4, I mean, whatever you want to do. You know what? Hold on. Let me just you ready for this? Here, hold on.
Live programming alert.
Whatever you want, pal. I can do the buttons.
I'm happy to be a regular contributor for sure. And if behind the paywall things work, let's go.
Let's go. Sold. Let's do it. We're gonna close out. Henry, my son Henry, wants to be a DJ music producer, and so he's been fiddling around creating his own beat. So he created an exit beat for the show.
He made this?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Good job, Henry. Andrew Bogusch, you are the best, pal. Thank you to all of you, the 3 of you who made it to the end. Love you, Mom. Love you, Dad. Love you, Bob, my brother. Thank you, everybody. And we'll be back tomorrow with more fake breaks, despite Spike Eskin hating everything about it.